welcome. Thanks for joining. Now, I haven't actually practiced this the way I probably should have today. I did it about a week and a half ago, and I probably should have had a practice run before today. But I think it'll work anyway. It'll be fine. Let's just see how it goes. I was watching a video by Lavinia, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she explained about blending with the Elements inks. Now, I've watched over 100 of Tracy Dutton doing what she does brilliantly. But you know how you watch, but you only half watch? Well, this time I just watched. I wanted to see how she did it because for the life of me, I was ending up with clumps of ink on my work, and she always had it looking so seamless. And I thought, it's probably time to take notice more than anything. So I did. And then I had a go. I put it on YouTube, put it up on the TV up there behind me, and watched it and had a go and followed it. Lo and behold, it worked seamlessly. So I figured that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a go at doing, this is the background, seamless, how to do a moon that looks stunning just like that. How cool is that? Then we'll put some stamps on and turn it into something else. But how to do something to make it look like a moon, so it's like a ball sitting up in the sky, and to have the ink going around the outside beautifully. Look how beautiful it is. See? That's what we're aiming for today. That's my goal. Let's see how we go. Now, for those of you who have been crafting for, I don't know, 20 odd years, and you remember back when Tim Holtz brought out his range of inks, and we had the blending tools, and we all got really good at doing that, and you do it at a slight angle and rotate, and you come off a craft sheet onto your card gradually, and you know, it doesn't take long and you get the knack of it. But the Lavinia inks is nothing like that, not in the slightest. And if you go into try to blend the way that you did before with Ranger products, you're in all sorts of trouble. That's where you get your clumps happening with your ink and your streaks and all sorts. So a couple of differences, I guess, would be Elements inks are super juicy for a start. So that creates a problem. How do you blend something beautifully and softly with something so heavy? That's the first thing. So there's your first hint. You go in softly. You're also using, I'm using the stencil brushes. So I'll show you the stencil brushes. And this is what I didn't realise until I watched and listened closely. These are the stencil brushes I'm using today. So I'm only using one of the large one. Whereas before what I was doing, I was using the large one on everything. Just use the large one, it'll be fine. No, it makes a world of difference when you use the medium ones. The size, what is it, size 7. And the size 3, the little one. And that's just for edging. That one's for the moon. And that's for the blue background. Okay. So we'll make a start. Come down to the table with me. Here we go. And I apologise for the shadows, but I've got all the lights on. And it just creates shadows. Never mind. I'll hold it up as I go. The card I'm using, for those who are following, is measuring 5 1/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm using as my background, instead of a craft sheet for blending, I'm using a piece of photocopy paper. That makes a huge difference. The moon is from the acetate circle masks, the large one. I'm just going to put that roughly where a moon would go, try and centre it a little bit, and down, about there. And I'm going to hold it there like that. The first colour I'm going to use, and because I'm holding with one hand, I'm going to be doing everything with the other hand. So using my number 7 brush, this is Mermaid, I'm going to blend it off onto the A4 sheet and then go gently around the side like this, just like that, and you work your way around. It actually holds quite a bit of ink, and each time you load the brush up, make sure it goes like that, and you go from the acetate onto your card, just gently round and round and round like this. And you're just building up the depth of colour gradually. Everything is gradual. Just gradually, nice and soft. Something very relaxing. It looks like it's disappearing. Just rotate it. What this does, the ink loads up into the brush, is what she explained. And then concentrate the ink closer to the circle edge, the moon edge, like that. Until you're happy enough with the colour, and you can go as heavy as you like. And I've just gradually moved it, so I'm going to put it back. The lid on, and then we go in with mulberry, and again you're loading. See how it makes that mess there? That's what you don't want. That's why you load your brush up, and then you just go around the edge. I need a bit more, I think. Okay, now it's right. And you're just touching the edge to give an edge to the sky where the moon is going to go later. That's the way. Round and round and round. It's hard to tell how heavy it is until you take the moon off. I'm just going to do that like that. This stage, that is all I'm going to do, I think. Now I can take that off, put that aside. That's how it's looking so far. See how nice and soft it is? I think the trick to it is using the number 7 brush. Whoops. Really forgot to put the lid back on. Then I'm going back in with mulberry and the blue. And this time I'm going to use the Hill Mask. Okay, so I've left a gap where my fingers were. That was done deliberately. What I'm going to do is there, put some hills in. So I'm going to join it up like that with the ink. That looks good. And again, it's just loading it up until it's loaded properly. and then come from the acetate down just softly and across. Like that. Nice and soft. I like how it does this. Oh, better be careful where I put that brush down. I nearly put it down on the white card because it was camouflaged. And that wouldn't have looked good, would it? At the last minute. Never mind, I didn't. And working my way over like that. Then put the lid on. Coming back to that in a moment. While I'm holding that in place, I'm getting the graphite and the number 3 brush. Just loading up the brush and just touching the edge with the graphite. Oops, looks a bit heavy there. That's okay. Go a bit softer along here. Working my way along. Just want to get the edge. Nearly there. Nearly there. Right. Put the lid back on. Put that down there. Carefully lift that up. That's that one. There's an update on how we're looking, like that. And then I'm using a different hill. So it looks different, that's what she said. So I'm doing it along there. Back to the mermaid with the number 7 brush. Load up the ink, and this time we just go in lightly. It doesn't have to be as heavy this time. It's amazing how much ink stays in the brush, to be honest. Across like that. Once you've got some colour down, you can go in a bit heavier. But I still don't want to go in too heavy at this stage. Right. Put the lid on. Always put the lids on. I have never run out of Elements inks. I think it's because, you know, if you remember to put the lids on, they just last for years. Last for years. That's what you want from your inks, isn't it? Right. And just getting that edge, so it's just a highlight, working our way across. Just picking up that edge ever so carefully. All right. Putting the lid on, brush down. Very nice. here we are, we're gradually building it up. So it's looking good so far. I hope you think it's looking good too. I'm going to go in and just add a bit more blue. It's on the here, it's already loaded on the number 7. So I'm just lightening up the white area down the bottom, just carefully. Just so you can see I've just taken the white off this part here. Right, now put that aside. The moon. The moon is done with russet orange, and for this one we're using the number 9. It used to be called the 1 inch, but then they brought the number system in. See, you've got to do this every time, otherwise that's where you get your splodges from. We don't want splodges, we want, see, splodges. We want everything loaded so it's in the bristles. Okay, now I'm going to go carefully and very lightly around the large area, like this, and across into the centre. Right. Then I'm going to go down slightly heavier on the edges. Load a bit more ink onto the brush. Need a bit more ink. Right, that's a little better. Sorry if I've gone quiet, I'm just concentrating on where I'm putting the ink. Just blend a little bit more into the centre, so I'll take a bit of the harshness away. Right, update. That's how it's looking so far. So you can see it's starting to turn into a ball. Put the lid back on and going back in with the number 7 brush and the mermaid. Load it up. Yep. And I'm going to soften around the edge, just lightly. So I'm bringing the blue, it's like half and half onto the russet orange and onto the outside, just to emphasize the circle. A bit more. That's better. Because it doesn't matter if the blue goes out here, does it? Because it's blue already. Okay. I'm happy with that. So if I put that beside my sample, I haven't done too bad. So I think Tracy's instructions on how to do the blending is pretty flawless, because it works. And if you see her do it and actually listen to what she's saying and give it a go, it works. So that's good. Now, they use different stamps, I'm going to use instead Zemira, which is this one, because she's just beautiful. I love Zemira. So I'm going to ink it up. You can ink it up with whatever really juicy ink pad you've got handy. I have to stand up for this. I'm using India ink. You might have a really juicy archival handy. Use that. You might have VersaFine Clear in the Nocturne. That would work really, really well. It's a silhouette. I only get one go at it. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't matter. I'm going to put her down the bottom. I reckon so her hair is over to one side. And I have to allow plenty of time for the ink to transfer to the card. It's a silhouette and it's a large silhouette. So a good 20 seconds at least. I'm making sure I'm pressing in all the different areas because it's a large silhouette. And I'm making sure that I've always got one hand. So if I'm switching over from this hand to this hand, I do that and then take that off. I'm never having two hands off at one time because that's when it can jump and you end up with a wrecked image. And I've worked hard on my moon and background, so okay, let's see, that should be enough time. Let's see if it works. Oh, wow, it did. It did. Look at that. Liking that so far? She's a beautiful stamp, Zemira. I didn't bring my heat tool, but that's okay. I'm going to put, oh, I'll show you. The Tree of Courage and the Tree of Hope on either side of Zemira. I thought that would look nice, so we'll do that. Okay. It's a little bit slippery. Don't know if I told you a good. Oh no. There we go. Now, I'm going to put that up towards the top and over to the side. There. And again, it's all about allowing time for the ink to transfer onto the card. Always one hand down at all times. I'm pressing. I know that sometimes the stem might not stamp out properly, so I give it a good amount of attention down there and then I can lift it off. Oh, beautiful. Right, there's an update. That's how that's looking. Now I take that one off and put the other one on. I might as well stay standing. And make sure it's well inked up all over. That. Right, now what I'd like to do is bring the tree in a little bit so it's closer to a hair. So it doesn't have to be equal or on the same level as the other tree, because trees grow in all different places. If you look out in nature, it's all pretty random. Again, allowing plenty of time, and I will sit down. Okay, let's see how it goes. Nice. I'm happy with that. All right. So that's how it's looking so far. Okay. Now, looks like she needs something in her hand. So, I need a little stamp pad, stamp block, but I haven't got one handy. So I'll have to use my big one, which is far too big. You should try and match the size of your stamp to the size of your block. Never mind. I'll just have to be careful. Okay, and we'll make sure that one's there like that. And it doesn't matter if it's a big stamp or a little stamp. You still have to wait 10 to 20 seconds. Ink is ink and card is card. Okay. That's that part done. Looking a little bit magical with the stars there. Looks pretty good. She's a gorgeous stamp. Beautiful stamp. Now, the trees look like they need grounding. So what I'm going to use is another one of the hill masks. I'll just put it at the base of the tree root like that. I don't want it to go straight. I want it to have a bit of a shape to it. Yep, that'll work. So it looks like it's got a shape. And I'll use the mermaid. Make sure it's on the... See how beautifully it blends over there now? And just gently work it along where the tree is. Doesn't have to be heavy. We're just giving the tree something to sit on, a bit of ground, instead of being up in the air, sitting on nothing. And then, oh, sorry about that, dropped it. Ground it with the black. Oh, well, it's not really black, it's grey. The graphite. Like that. So I've just given her something to sit on. I'll do the other one. Put that there. Put it on the graphite. Grab the mermaid. I don't think this needs much over here. Just give it a little hill to sit on. And I'm really just using the blue ink that was already on the brush. I haven't added any more. I'm doing the same with the... So I'll put that back. Doing the same thing with the graphite. Element inks. Right. Put that over there. Put that out of the way. And this is how it's looking. Very magical. So simple. So simple. And I grabbed a couple of bits of pencils because I thought with the tree it's just nice to add a little colour. And I'm just going to go in softly. Very softly. Bring it across. Like that. Up tree trunks. It's just taking the white off, really. You don't have to overthink things. I think people get a little bit too detailed with what they do. Now I can go in and just pick out bits. And just, oh, probably need to have a rubber for that section. Right, and there, and there. And do the same thing on the other side. Just lightly take the white off. You could go in and lift the blue ink off with a bit of water if you wanted. I don't think it's really necessary, because by the time you go down and put a touch of brown down here, it'll be fine. Just sort of try and blend the brown up. And down there, and around there. And up there. Right. You could go in with white gel pen. I need to get a new white gel pen and put in her hair. I haven't got any at the moment. There's a couple of black specks on Zemira. I could go in with a black fine liner, just in a couple of spots around her middle. And that's really all that needs doing. This is what we've ended up with today. It's all about the blending. It's all about that blending. I hope you get a chance to watch Tracy Dutton do the blending, because like I haven't done this for a week and a half. I didn't even have a practice today and the blending still worked. I could go in and darken it up if I wanted. I think on the one that she did, she put some a writing stamp there. You could put more foliage there if you wanted. I can add with one of the stamps, which one, let me tell you, Tree of Hope, has an extra branch, so I could stamp more branches in. Well, I can do that, but like I said, I've only got my big thing to use, big block, but let's do it. Just go in and add some branches if I wanted to. This is probably, yeah, that's the trouble with things that aren't the right size. Right, so what I'm going to do is add some, look at that, I've joined up the two trees, one from the left, one from the right. I'll thicken it up there as well, hold it steady, not too hard, just softly, and then lift. You're just doing one at a time. You can thicken it up down here. Just waiting. Okay. I can have some branches coming up the side here as well. You can put as little or as much on there. This is such a handy little. Oh, it looks nice. Like how that looks. So I'm going to do it on the other side as well. Just put that there. It's just allowing time for the ink to transfer into the card. Simple, simple, simple. Nothing complicated. No one likes things that are too complicated. And you just do it to your heart's content. You can go in and put some leaves on there if you want it. I don't think it needs leaves. But I will thicken up the middle, because what's happening is that the two trees are joining up in the middle now, whereas they weren't before. Go this way. Where am I going? I'll go there. Okay. Ta-da. There we go. Hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you have a go at blending. If you've, like, I know a lot of people have got brushes. What Tracy was explaining was that you don't need a brush for every colour. Like, you could do all your yellows and oranges. You can do your turquoises and blues. And I've got a brown so that the mulberry comes into that one. I've got the black. What other colours have I got? But if you did that in each size, you'd only have to have half a dozen in the grand scheme of things. You don't need a dozen brushes. You just need half a dozen, and that would cover everything. But I learnt the importance of that medium-sized brush when I was doing this, because that just made a difference. Big difference.